See, the storyline I'm going to pick here is I'm going to go to the other side of the ball. And I think this is the other really big one. I mean, there's a couple really big ones, but I think this is probably like, if that's 1A, this is 1B. And that's what Jim Schwartz is going to do with this defensive line. Uh,
Hmm.
and I'm focusing mostly on the defensive line here. There's other areas of the defense as well, but obviously Schwartz is here. He is a defensive line guru. That's always been like the bread and butter of his defenses. And they went out and invested a ton in it. Obviously, Myles Garrett already in the fold, but they go and sign Dalvin Tomlinson to a big contract. They trade for Zadarius Smith. They sign Obo Garanquo to a pretty decent contract. Considering kind of where he's come from, kind of gambling on that half year of production in Houston, which was a really good half year of production. They've really, I've said this before, you don't hire Jim Schwartz and give him a Honda Civic. If he's your race car driver, you don't give him a Honda Civic to drive. You have to give him a race car. And they've certainly done that. And I want to see what Jim Schwartz can do with this defensive line. Like we've discussed Myles Garrett, that we think there's still another level there for Myles. And I want to see if Jim Schwartz can find that other level along with Zadarius and these other guys. Like I want to see if Jim Schwartz can unlock that next level of Myles Garrett, which is actually a really scary thing for opposing quarterbacks to think about.
It really is. And I'll tell you, the one of the best things that happened for me in advance of covering Jim Schwartz as defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns was to have the opportunity to cover the Super Bowl this year or cover Super Bowl week and to be able to go to the Philadelphia availability on that last day and talk to all of those defenders, most of most of the defensive linemen for the Philadelphia Eagles who had played for Jim Schwartz, and just to see how they genuinely lit up talking about him. I mean, they loved playing for him. And why is that? Because I said this, I think, on the radio this morning, because his philosophy is see quarterback, get quarterback. That's basically it. And I just think that is a major reason why they should be able to play good defense early on, because it's not as complicated. They're not going to have as many rules or concepts flowing through their brains. They just need to go attack. And that's what defensive linemen love to do. I don't know exactly what that means for the linebackers yet. That's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because when you hear Jason Tarver talk, he talks about JOK needing to kind of know where to be at the right time and, knowing to sort of how to read the field and the situation. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But as far as the defensive linemen are concerned, it's like they will know the assignment. They will know it. And if Myles is getting a blow and not playing as many snaps as he usually does, he's going to be fresh to be sacking the quarterback in the fourth quarter and making those game-changing plays. Because that's one thing about Myles, is that we've seen him sometimes drop off a little bit later in a game, and we've seen him tail off sometimes a little bit later in a season. With the way these guys are doing it this year, that shouldn't happen. He should be able to stay fresh. Not only are they going to be playing 5 down linemen with all kinds of guys up there rushing, but they're going to be rotating 8 in any given game. So he's not going to have to play 89% of the snaps. He's going to be able to stay fresh and be in there when it matters the most. And, he could end up really challenging for NFL Defensive Player of the Year, or breaking his sack record, or finishing with the NFL lead in sacks this year.
So I'll read a couple quotes. When I talked to Obo during OTAs, I asked him about Jim Schwartz, obviously, and his impression of the system. And here's a couple things he said. He said, it's a really good system. It's really allowing us to express ourselves, all of our traits, all of our athletic traits. And then a little later, when I asked him specifically about Jim Schwartz, he said, man, he's an evil genius. He knows how to put us in position to make a lot of plays. And as a D lineman, everybody wants the handcuffs off and the seatbelt off. Just be able to play fast. And that kind of goes with what you were saying, talking to Eagles D linemen and other D linemen that have played for him, is he makes this real easy. Like you said, go get the quarterback.